Hey guys, Mr. Matt here. Creative Assembly have just dropped a video called Total War Warhammer 3 patch notes. As far as I know, there's no actual patch notes out yet. It's just this video that's got a sneak peek of some of the changes that are going to be in the patch notes for 2.0, which drops at the same time as the Immortal Empires beta goes live for everybody. I'll just play the video first and then we'll chat about it afterwards.
Total War Warhammer 3 patch 2.0 has arrived. In addition to bringing you the Champions of Chaos DLC, the Blood Pact DLC, and the first beta access to Immortal Empires DLC, we're updating the core game to align each of the releases. These additions will be free for all players. The Warriors of Chaos will be receiving a campaign rework thanks to our 4 new legendary lords, with new faction mechanics including Chaos Gifts to provide god-given boosts for your faction, a vassal-based settlement structure with dark fortresses and altars to act as the bloodline for your armies, warband recruitment to hire mercenaries from around the world, warband upgrades to level up your units with their experience in the battlefield, and Path to Glory, where dedicated characters will be able to gather boons and advance their power with a Mark of Chaos. Visual changes have been made, including hand-drawn occupation images for all factions, and an improved war coordination interface with quick access to all your allies and vassals. We also have a visual update for the Chaos Knights of Siege and the Doom Knights of Siege, visual updates for Lore of Death and Lore of Metal, and a size increase for the Chaos War Steeds, as well as new combat animations for Archaon the Everchosen. We've also tweaked the UI of the game to add more variety to the colour palette. On the Realm of Chaos map, 4 new provinces have been added: the Northern Wastelands, Albion, Marches of Khorne, and Middle Mountains. The 4 Champions of Chaos will be present on the map, but will not participate in the race for Ursun, pursuing their own agendas. Several new factions now present on the map as AI, including the Marches of Khorne, led by Lura Leoncourt's vassal, Earl Adalbert, and Wintertooth, led by Throg, the Troll King. Wei Jin is now a 10-slot settlement for Cathay, and with the arrival of Azazel, Kurgan warband spawn rates have been further reduced north of the Bastion, and they can no longer declare war on most Chaos-aligned factions. Automatic declaration of war against non-demon factions has been removed from Khorne, Siege, Demons of Chaos and Nurgle. Allies can now be given an occupy request in addition to attack and defend, which will encourage them to actively claim the settlement, including ruined settlements. Confederation has now been rebalanced, and allied outposts can now be built outside of their province capitals. Battle reinforcement times now always accurate without any leeway. The Immortality skill now unlocks automatically at rank 20 for all characters. Demon Prince no longer requires demonic glory to access mortal units, and vassals formed by Slaanesh will now never rebel and should always join wars alongside their master, and come with an increase in income. Boris Ursus now receives reduced penalties from Chaos Wasteland climates, and generates devotion when holding Chaos Wasteland settlements. The Poison Chaos Warhounds unit will be available in the core game for Kugath. And we shifted a lot of the potential movement range bonuses from Scarbrand so that they start off a little bit lower and instead build up more over time over the course of the campaign, slowing down Scarbrand's initial rush potential while preserving the ability to pull off massive combos later on. And finally, for those who own Warhammer 1 and 2 and have access to the Immortal Empires campaign, all legacy battle content for the previous 2 games have been brought across to Warhammer 3, with it being re-implemented, reworked, and rebalanced to fight against the newer races of the trilogy, including reload time calculation adjustments, changes to healing abilities, tweaks to shared spell laws, and adjustments to individual unit stats across all races. A big focus for patch 2.0 is squashing those pesky bugs. Fixes include, but are not limited to, no more crashes for characters with non-standard characters in their names. Vassals are now more reliable for the player, and potential attackers will take into account who rules over them. Collision from corpses in battle has also been removed to stop entities getting stuck. Performance boosts in battles when units destroy incidental buildings, that's things like fences, crates and market stalls. And lastly, the defense bonus from formation attack is now shown in the UI. We hope you enjoy these new additions to the game. Read the full changelog for patch 2.0 on August 23rd at totalwar.com. Total War Warhammer 3 patch 2.0 has arrived. In addition to bringing you the Champions of Chaos DLC, the Blood Pact DLC, and the first beta access to Immortal Empires DLC, we're updating the core game to align each of the releases.
Oh shit, I got myself on mic. On mute. Yeah, sorry, there's actually, yeah, a fair bit of stuff I wanted to talk about there. I guess the first thing is that a lot of this first part is stuff that we already knew about. But I guess they just kind of recycled some of the kind of headliner things that they've already told us about because they are, you know, exciting and stuff. So we already knew about, you know, all this sort of stuff. The warband recruitment for Chaos Warriors. But yeah, some of the rebalancing stuff and the bugs and stuff that they fixed towards the second half, I think, is really really interesting.
Hand-drawn occupation images.
Yeah, the hand-drawn occupation images are nice.
Coordination interface with quick access to all your allies and vassals. We also have a visual update for the Chaos Knights.
Yeah, the Chaos Knights look amazing, and so do the Doom Knights.
Lore of Death and Lore of Metal.
That hand for Spirit Leech looks pretty awesome. Yeah, and see, they already told us about the combat animations for Archaon, the enlarged war steeds and stuff. We already knew about the better UI. We already knew about the new provinces.
Albion, Marches of Corun.
But yeah, there's a few Bretonian provinces in the left-hand side of the map now. This is in the Realm of Chaos campaign.
Several new factions now present on the map as AI, including the Marches of Corun, led by Lauren Leoncourt's vassal, Earl Adalbert, and Wintertooth, led by Throg.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really care at all about Realm of Chaos campaign anymore. But just objectively looking at it, like, I think that the Realm of Chaos campaign would be a lot cooler. Like, if you went back and played it now as one of the Warriors of Chaos factions, it would be pretty cool.
Demon factions has been removed from Khorne, Siege, Demons of Chaos, and Nurgle. Allies can now be given an occupy request in addition to attack and
that is awesome. That occupy request to be able to make your allies just occupy ruins, it works really well. Like, they do it, and yeah, it's really good. It was really frustrating not being able to get your allies to occupy ruins like before, but now you can, so it's pretty cool. Like that immortality is automatic now. Yeah, for sure.
Actively claimed settlement, including ruined settlements. Confederation has now been rebalanced.
Oh yeah, so Confederation has now been rebalanced. I really want to know what that means, because I'm working on, I just did a video about how like difficult the Confederations were in Realm of Chaos for, like, if you're trying to confederate Cathay. And I'm just currently working on a video about how to confederate Tyrion, because we did a stream the other day and confederated Tyrion using Eltharion, and so I just wanted to make a video about that, but it's pretty involved. It's taken me a while, and it sounds like it's going to all be, like, not as relevant possibly after the 24th. But yeah, I wonder, when they say they're rebalancing confederations, I wonder if they mean they've rebalanced the confederations from Warhammer 2 to make them almost fucking impossible like they are now in Warhammer 3, or if they mean, we noticed that you didn't like that they were almost impossible in Warhammer 3, and so we've updated them and rebalanced them to make them easier in Immortal Empires. So yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on there. I'm seriously doubting these substantial changes between your build and the one pushed for release. Yeah, I wouldn't think that there'd be massive changes, but Confederation is just, like, it's just numbers. Like, all they have to do is tweak a few numbers. It would be super easy. And it wouldn't affect any other systems or anything. I imagine, I don't know exactly how the code's set up, but I imagine it would just be number stuff so they could change it. So like, my main worry actually with the Confederations is that they'll nerf the difficulty too much. Like, a lot of people complaining about how difficult it is to confederate, characters in Realm of Chaos for Legendary Lords. Normal non-Legendary Lords are okay, but the Legendary Lords are really difficult. And in Immortal Empires, so far, I've found that it's pretty hard to confederate there as well. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure they're going to make it easier, because a lot of people are saying it's too hard. But if they make it too easy, then you can just automatically confederate everybody. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that would be too far the other way. Yeah. Have you tried confederating Tyrion while being super unreliable? Yeah, I don't think reliability matters for Confederation. But yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember whether I probably wasn't unreliable actually. But yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, but yeah, I'll be very interested to see what they do with the rebalance of the Confederation. Yeah, it's interesting to see here. These still showing -97 deal chance on Ungol Kindred. when their strength rank is 72 and your strength rank is 1. So, you know, so I'm thinking if you're 1 and they're 72, then you probably should have like a positive relative faction strength of like, it really depends because different factions have different like bonuses or negatives to their relative faction strength as well as their actual like military relative faction strength. But like if it's sort of normal, then you'd think it would be like plus 25 or plus 50 relative faction strength. So that means they're still getting like a minus 120 base evaluation probably on that, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you know, you can't see the numbers, so I don't know. But yeah, I mean, anyway, so I'm interested to see that being still being so negative makes me think, oh, cool. Maybe they haven't nerfed it really badly. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they make the Confederation just a bit easier, like about like 15 to 20 points easier. So it's still kind of hard, but it's doable, you know? That's what I'm hoping. But anyway, we'll see.
An allied outpost can now be built outside of their province capitals.
Oh, allied outposts can be built outside of province capitals. So that's cool. So before factions that didn't have faction capitals like ogres and stuff, I'm not sure if you could build outposts because they didn't have any faction capitals. Not sure actually how that would work. But and also, you know, you would ally with certain factions and they didn't have the capital, like just a minor faction only has a couple of minor settlements or something. So I guess now you'll be able to build outposts in their settlements even if they don't have a capital. That's pretty cool.
Battle reinforcement times now always accurate without any leeway. The immortality skill now unlocks automatically at rank 20 for all characters. Demon Prince no longer requires demonic glory to access mortal units.
Yeah, I didn't know that the Demon Prince required glory to access mortal units, but cool.
And vassals formed by Slaanesh will now never rebel and should always join wars alongside their master.
That's cool. So Slaanesh's vassals are completely reliable now. They never rebel. That's really cool. I'm actually really keen to play Sigvald and get some vassal action happening. I feel like, yeah, Sigvald leading like a massive army of Norscan vassals would be pretty cool. But yeah, I think later on they say that normal vassals are actually going to be more reliable as well. So it sounds like Slaanesh vassals are just unbreakable. They can't betray you ever. But like even for chaos and stuff like that, it's saying that they're going to be more reliable and stuff. I didn't have any problems with my vassals, but I didn't play that far. But I think Legend said that they can still betray you. So yeah, hopefully that's been fixed a bit since. Yeah, I really want to know if this patch is like since the pre-release patch that we've got, or if it's since. I'm pretty sure everything they're saying in this video is like since the last official patch, not since the pre-release. So I don't know. So maybe none of this stuff has been changed since I've played, you know.
And come with an increase in income. Boris Ursus now receives reduced penalty.
The increase in income. I hope the vassals do get a substantial increase of income because I don't have my vassals didn't give me much.
From Chaos Wasteland climates and generates devotion when holding Chaos Wasteland settlements.
Oh, that's interesting. So if if you just conquer a Chaos Wasteland settlement, you get to generate devotion just by holding it. That's pretty cool.
The Poison Chaos Warhounds unit will be available in the core game for Kuga.
Oh, okay, cool.
A lot of the potential movement range bonuses from Scarbrand so that they start off a little bit lower and instead build up more over time of the course of the campaign.
This is good. Yeah,
while preserving the
I was
massive combos later on.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Scarbrand change. I don't know if they're going to go far enough or if they're going to go too far, but there's definitely a problem for me with Scarbrand that he's just too ridiculous. Like he's just too overpowered. Like he's really fun. He's pretty much exactly the same as Taurox. Like the first time you play Scarbrand, you think, oh, this is amazing. It's so crazy. He's just fucking going berserk and smashing everything. But then, you know, you're like, nah, then you don't really want to ever play it again because it's not really like proper Total War. It's like this weird other game that's not kind of normal Total War. That's how I feel about it anyway. I feel like Scarbrand's just a bit too over the top. So it feels like, yeah, it sounds like maybe other people feel that way too. And so Creative Assembly have decided to sort of tone him down a bit at the start and have him build up a bit. That sounds like a really good solution to me. So hopefully, hopefully that change works out well.
And we've shifted a lot of the potential movement range bonuses from Scarbrand so that they start off a little bit lower and instead build up more over time of the course of the campaign, slowing down Scarbrand's initial rush potential while preserving the ability to pull off massive combos later on. And finally, for those who own Warhammer 1 and 2 and have access to the Immortal Empires campaign, all legacy battle content for the previous two games has been brought across to Warhammer 3, with it being re-implemented, reworked, and rebalanced to fight against the newer races of the trilogy.
What did he say? All legacy battle content?
Warhammer 1 and 2 and have access to the Immortal Empires campaign.
So just turn this a bit.
All legacy battle content.
All legacy battle content. What the fuck's legacy battle content? Like maps, battle maps, units.
The previous 2 games have been brought across to Warhammer 3. Have access to the Immortal Empires campaign. All legacy battle content for the previous 2 games have been brought across to Warhammer 3, with it being re-implemented, reworked, and rebalanced to fight against the newer races of the trilogy, including reload time calculation adjustments, changes to healing abilities, tweaks to shared spell laws, and adjustments to individual unit stats across all races. A big focus for patch 2.0 is squashing those pests.
Yeah, so they've said, they've said this before, but they're getting, all the units got rebalanced, and when all the factions got brought into Warhammer 3, all of the units got rebalanced and everything. A number of the factions have gotten some minor updates, like relatively minor updates, compared to like a proper update. Like, when so Chaos Warriors got a proper update. Chaos Warriors have got an actual full update with all new mechanics, everything reworked and everything. That's like a proper update, They quite often come alongside a DLC. There'll be a DLC with a new race or whatever, or new lords and stuff, and there'll also be a rework of an old faction. That's just kind of how they normally operate, So Chaos Warriors is the old faction that's getting the rework in this one, but a number of other factions got updates, but they've been careful to say they're not proper updates. They're not on the scale of a proper rework. So, but out of those, Vampire Counts is the one that probably got the most thorough reworking. There's like things all across the board with Vampire Counts that have been changed, like hero traits, lord traits, skill trees, technology trees, the blood kiss bonuses. They got extra unit added. They got the Mongols added. They've got their building tree with their access to different things has been changed. They get earlier access to banshees, but they don't get. They've lost the Children of the Night skill. It gives them the increased vampire cap and stuff. So that's like one of the most major ones, and Norsca got a few changes that made some really significant difference to it, but overall not really that many changes. And it's a lot of factions got pretty significant changes, but a lot of them haven't really been fixed yet. So the Empire, I believe the Empire's Imperial Authority mechanic has not been updated. So the Empire, the ones that have the Imperial Authority, Karl Franz and Balthasar Gelt, I feel like they're kind of a bit balked at the moment because they haven't been updated to fit in with the new diplomacy changes, because their racial mechanic is so sort of integral with diplomacy, and it's not updated to fit in with the new diplomacy, so it's sort of a bit screwy, I think. But yeah, anyway, bit of an aside there.
Fixes include, but not limited to, no more crashes for characters with non-standard characters in their names. Vassals are now more reliable for the player, and potential attackers will take into account who rules over them.
Yeah, I've noticed that the potential attackers will take into account who rules over them thing. I don't think you can invite into war. You used to be able to use vassals to be invited into war, or to invite other people into war. But now it's no, you can't trick them. If you try to go to war with the vassal, they know that you're going to war with the main faction as well. It's sort of the diplomacy understands that. But yeah, also they said there that vassals in general are going to be more reliable and will join wars with you more often and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. I don't understand your question. Sorry, Shrankin. You might have to expand on that one.
Collision from corpses in battle has also been released.
Oh yeah, the collision from artillery and wagons and stuff like that was really annoying.
Buildings, that's things like fences, crates, and market stalls. And lastly, the defense bonus from formation attack is now shown in the UI. We hope you enjoy these new additions to the game. Read the full changelog for patch 2.0 on August 23rd at totalwar.com.
Crazy. All right. Well, yeah, I'll just go through the chat and see if anyone had any questions or interesting comments and stuff. I don't want this video to go for too long. But yeah.
Total War Warhammer 3 Patch 2.0 has arrived.
Really excited to play new Warriors of Chaos. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome. I'll turn this volume down a little bit more.
The Blood Pact DLC. And the first beta access to
The Warriors of Chaos look fantastic. They've been stagnant for such a long time. Yeah, exactly. I love the Warriors of Chaos. They're one of my favorite factions, and it's been like hurting my heart that they've sucked so much for so long. But I think they're really awesome now. They're interesting. They've got this mechanic's really cool with the Gifts of Chaos. Although I feel like it could use a tweak, the Gifts of Chaos thing. But it's pretty cool. The upgrading of the characters. You know how you can get Marauders and upgrade them through this warband upgrades, like that makes you really get involved in your characters a lot more, like in your units and stuff. This Boons of Chaos is really cool, although one thing that kind of sucks about it is that you lose your original starting traits. So you have a character who levels up, he gets traits from doing deeds and like unlocking stuff, and develops a personality in your mind, you know, and then you just convert him into a Zeech version. He loses everything that he had before, and he's just a new character basically. Yeah, I really don't like that. I wish they could change that somehow to make it so you kept your original traits, because like if you hire a hero because he's got like iron skin or something, and you're like, yeah, I really like that guy, he's got iron skin, he's tough or whatever, and then he turns into a marked hero, turns into a Zeechan sorcerer or a cornate warrior or whatever, and then he doesn't have iron skin anymore. Now he's got like 1,000 eyes mutation or something. He's basically a completely different guy, you know. So yeah, I feel like that's one thing that's weak about the about that. But I don't know, I think that's something they might want to change later on. Maybe they just couldn't fix it at the moment, like in time. Anyone know if they fixed Ghost zombie spam? No, they didn't mention anything about it. So hey, young by the way, so I haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, no, they didn't say anything in this video. So the patch notes aren't out yet. So this video says it's called patch notes, but there are no patch notes. So this is just like kind of a highlight of some of the cool things that are in the patch notes, you know. So when the actual patch notes come out tomorrow or the next day or whatever, I'll probably do another one of these kind of read and discuss kind of things. Basically, I'll just read the patch notes, answer questions, get input from you guys as well. I think they'll give us a couple of weeks of trying zombie spam. Yeah, hopefully.
Boris Ursus now receives reduced penalties from Chaos Wasteland climates and generates devotion when holding Chaos Wasteland settlements. The poison
yeah, Confederation shouldn't be too easy. Yeah, I don't want the Confederation to be too easy, yeah.
And we've shifted a lot of
hey, Jesus, how you going? Going for a Volkmar hairstyle, they're bald. Yeah, I haven't got the mustache going at the moment, but I have had the Volkmar mustache before. Yeah, hopefully they do bring in more faction-specific Confederation methods, but I think that the normal way of confederating is fine. Like, it's cool, it's a good method. I think it makes sense. Like, all the elements of it make sense. Like, if they're weak and you're strong and they really like you and they're under threat from a lot of enemies, and all those things logically should make them want to confederate. So I feel like the basic Confederation mechanics are good. It's just that some of the values might be a bit out of whack. Like there might be penalties or bonuses that are too high or too low, or there might be a bug. Somebody said there might be a bug with trustworthiness, like untrustworthiness giving you a bonus and whatever. For vampires, I don't think trustworthiness even affects confederations, so I don't know. It's different. That's another thing I like about how the basic mechanic of confederation is the same for all of the factions, ignoring the factions that have special confederation mechanics. I mean, all the factions that confederate via diplomacy, they all seem to have their own little bonuses and tweaks and stuff based on like the faction leader personalities and stuff like that. Like some of them they favor relations more, some of them favor military strength more and stuff like that. So yeah, it's interesting. In 3K, used to get a ton from Vassals. It was a noticeable amount, unlike in Warhammer. Ah, okay, cool.
And the first beta access to Immortal Empires DLC, we're updating the core game of the releases. These additions will be free for all players.
What we really need is more ways to spend the devotion. Yeah, that's a good call actually with devotion, because eventually you kind of get enough devotion to be able to deal with building your priest, your temples or whatever, and keeping your buffs going, and then you don't really have anything else to spend it on, but you still have that devotion income that you can't really do anything with. Yeah, so that's a good call actually. Yeah, being able to buy more stuff with your devotion would be cool. Maybe you could have like holy troops or something. Maybe when they do a DLC for Kislev, they could have some sort of holy troops that require devotion or something.
War coordination interface with quick access to all your allies and vassals. We also have a visual update for the Chaos Knights of Siege.
Grimgor should be the best, not Scarbrand. Yeah, that's actually. That's a good call, actually, regarding Grimgor. Grimgor's a bit like Chaos Warriors, you know? He's always been the shittest greenskin lord, like, literally the worst. Or maybe I guess you could say Azag's the worst. But I feel like basically Grom's the best. Then Wurzag's pretty cool as well. Pretty cool. Skarsnik's arguably the best, depending on what you want out of your campaign, you know. They've all got really special, interesting things. Azag's at least got death magic and he's got a cool character. But yeah, Grimgor's just kind of the generic orc with no special stuff. I don't know if he's got anything new in Immortal Empires. Actually, I haven't actually played him yet. But yeah, it's sort of like he's like the fan favorite, you know. He's like the biggest and the baddest, but he's not like the coolest one to play. I don't think, anyway. So yeah, it'd be cool if he got like a rework and he got some like crazy. I don't really like Scarbrand's mechanics that much, but like something kind of like that, you know, that was pretty in depth and different, you know. Could be cool.
Confederation has now been rebalanced. An allied outpost can now be built outside of their province capitals. Battle reinforcement times now always accurate without any legal.
Yesterday, Legend had an easier time confederating and getting treaties when he became very unreliable. Whoops.
No longer requires demonic glory to access mortal units, and vassals formed by Slanesh will now never rebel and should always join wars alongside their master. And come with an
did Vampire Coast see any changes at all? Oh, I haven't played Vampire Coast. I'm not sure if they got any changes. Yeah, I haven't even looked at them. They didn't mention them in any of these pre-release sort of things. They didn't really mention it, so I don't think it was one of the ones they focused on. Vampire Counts feel like Vampire Counts are kind of cool, like the way they updated them. They've been a really extensive rework, considering it's not like an actual rework. Like they've got a pretty extensive update, the Vampire Counts, and it's a pretty, I don't know, it's cool. It's like they still kind of feel the same as they did before, but there's heaps of little things that are different to discover, you know, and it's good. I don't like the Blood Kiss changes. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, yeah, I kind of like the old Blood Kiss stuff better, but the new ones are okay. They're fine.
Fixes include, but not limited to.
Have you afraid of RAM and SSD because the turn times are bad? Well, I don't know. I've got a really fast SSD and I've got 32 gigs of RAM. So, you know, I don't know what the average sort of system is. Mine's probably not the fastest, but it's probably pretty okay. And yeah, the turn times seem fine for me. No problem. What do you think about locking confederations behind quests like Calidor or Kalakon? Yeah, no, I think that having special quests and stuff and storyline type things, that bonuses and things to confederations are great, but I still want them to keep the basic diplomacy style confederation in the game as well, you know, because you're not going to have a quest for every little minor faction, you know, like you still want to use the diplomacy for like general confederation stuff. You don't have to have a quest for every single one. I don't think. I don't know. I don't want to anyway. I want, like, because the diplomacy method is more sandbox, right? If you have quests for everything, then it's like everything's scripted and you have to do what the game tells you to do and shit. Like, fuck that. Like, I don't mind if there's a one or two things like that. Like with Imric, you know, and he has his Calidor quest. This Calidor quest is bugged in my version, by the way. I don't know if they fixed that in this version or not. But yeah, he's got the Calidor quest that lets him confederate Calidor. And that makes sense. That's part of his like set piece starting position, that basically you can either stay in Bonganistan or you can confederate to Calidor and teleport back to Ulthuan and just live in Ulthuan and forget about Bonganistan, you know. And that's the plane of bones, sorry. And that's fine. But then I don't want to then have another quest for like every single other high elf faction, you know. After that, you know, I'm happy to have that initial like sort of storyline choice, one or the other, but then after that I want to have like sandbox, you know. I want to just do whatever I want. Yeah, but you know, something should be harder and something should be easier, etc. But yeah, but anyway. But yeah, so in short, yeah, I do want to have put more quests and kind of those special mechanics in, but I still want to have the base diplomacy system that they've got now just, you know, fixed so it works properly, basically.
Albion, Marches of Kurun, and Middle Mountains. The 4 champions of chaos will be present on the map, but will not participate in the race for Ursun, pursuing their own agendas. Several new factions now.
I want to give us more tools to confederate diplomatically, because right now you need to go out of your way to do it. A bribe or allegiance points should be an option. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, Luke. Like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, confederations are too hard. I want them to be easy. I don't know. I don't really want them to be easy. Like, I want confederations to be hard, you know? Like, yeah, like the way, like I'm, like maybe I'm like a special case a little bit, because I like to really power game the confederations and kind of exploit stuff to force the factions to confederate and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily want everyone to have to play that way, but like, but I think that like if you go back to Warhammer 2, right, the confederations were not perfect, but they're in a pretty decent place, you know. Like if you play as the dwarfs, I think the confederations are in a pretty decent place, where if you play as Belagar, you get a few bonuses to relations to dwarfs and stuff. Then, you know, quite often Thorgrim would be under pressure, he might be losing and about to die or whatever, and then he'd confederate with you, you know. And that makes sense. Like if Karazakarak was about to be wiped off the face of the earth and overrun by Skaven and Grimgor and whatever else, then they might confederate with Belagar so that they could survive. But like under any other circumstances, like the High King Thorgrim is not going to fucking bend the knee to Belagar, you know. Like it doesn't make sense. Like, you know, factions don't just go and confederate into other factions for no reason, you know. Like if you're a sovereign nation with your own proud histories and your own flag and all that kind of stuff, you know, well, it depends on the factions, you know, but just generally speaking, you know what I mean? Like factions don't necessarily want to confederate, but I think it's fine for it to be different for each different faction. You know, some factions, they're all about confederating, some factions don't ever want to confederate and they hate it and whatever. Like, yeah, I don't honestly really don't mind that much, like how hard or easy it is, I guess. But I think I personally prefer there be a sort of a balance. Like it's not too easy, it's not too hard. But I'm kind of happy with it however it is. But I want it to work properly. I think at the moment it's a little bit like bugged or whatever, you know, it's like not good. Yeah. Yes, but Thorgrim was 3 turns from death in Legends campaign and it was -60 for him. I think that's absurd. Are you talking about Warhammer 3 or Warhammer 2? I was talking about Warhammer 2. So I was saying in Warhammer 2, I think it was like in an okay place. In Warhammer 3, the version I'm playing right now, it's not right. It's not quite right. It needs to be fixed up, you know. But I'm saying I don't necessarily want it to be like super easy that you can just automatically confederate everybody. Because that's the thing, like, so, okay, so quite often when I play, I do want to confederate everybody, and I'm prepared to make sure that I do no matter what. Like I'll set it up. I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure that I get all those confederations, you know, because I want to collect all my Pokemon, you know. But I'm gonna be devoting a considerable amount of effort and time. Like that's gonna be my primary probably goal is to confederate, you know. I said like, but I'd like to have the option of also playing like a more natural, normal campaign where, you know, you might be playing alongside Thorgrim or whatever, and he just won't confederate. Like he just doesn't want to confederate, you know, and there's no way to get him to confederate because he's too proud or whatever. And like, that's cool. That's just the way it is. That's cool, you know. Like, and like, I kind of like it to be in a place where both of those are options. So I know that I can exploit all of the game systems that I understand, and I can make him confederate if I want to break the game. But then I also know that I can just play the game normally, and maybe he'll confederate under some rare circumstances, but normally he won't because that's just not it's not his jam. Thorgrim's not about that, you know. And like that's, you know what I mean. Like I feel like that's a good balance for it to be in, but I don't know. That's yeah. Is the Vassal change in the build that you've played? Is it much better? I don't know, Ellie Bob. I don't know. They haven't given us any information about this. I just like literally just jumped on the computer and saw that these patch notes come out 45 minutes ago. They didn't tell me that they were coming out or anything. They told us that the patch notes were coming out like when they like tomorrow. But yeah, I didn't know about this little prequel video thing until just now. So yeah, and I don't know. That's what I was talking about earlier in the video. I don't know whether this is saying these are changes that are going to be from the pre-release build, or if this is changes from the previous Realm of Chaos Warhammer 3 build. I'm pretty sure this is just saying this has been changed compared to the old Warhammer 3 build, not the pre-release build. So whether or not it's been changed since my version, don't know. Confederation should not be too easy, but it should not be this hard. Yeah, that's basically what I think as well. Warhammer 2 is good for me. Warhammer 3 is not very good. I think very diplomatic factions like High Elves should be willing to confederate. Dwarves are quite stubborn, so it fits a little bit, but there needs to be a limit. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's what I reckon as well. I like the place that is in Warhammer 2. Like in Warhammer 2, it's quite hard to force the dwarves to confederate, but if you kind of do all the right things, then most of the time they'll confederate. But there's still just a bit of luck. Like you can't really, it's a bit hard to kind of control it too much, and that feels good. That feels about right, Whereas with high elves in Warhammer 2, you pretty much can guarantee that you're going to confederate everybody on the donut, no problem. And that kind of feels okay as well. Like it kind of feels right as well, maybe I'm just used to it, but yeah. But I'm cool with it being different. Like I really like the fact that in Warhammer 2 it's like that, like different factions have different vibes with the way that they confederate. Even the ones that are just, even the ones that are just in their own, what do you call it? Even the ones that you do use diplomacy in, now that the embargo is gone, do you like Immortal Empires? Yeah, man, I love Immortal Empires. It's fantastic. Fucking sick. It's so good. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to play it. But yeah, just take that with a grain of salt or whatever, with the caveat or whatever, that it is a beta. There are heaps of things that are not right with it, like they need to be fixed in Immortal Empires. And if Immortal Empires as it is now was going to be the permanent version of the game and it was never going to get fixed or updated any more than that, I would not be happy with it. Like it's not in a finished state. It's not in a finished state. It's not how I want the game to be permanently. But I'm having a great time with it, like there's so much new stuff that's cool to play with it. There's all these different factions, everything that you love, like, what I mean? Like all of the stuff that you have played with, like all your old factions that you love basically are there in this new game, but it's like a new game and everything's slightly different. So like particularly with the start positions is a big thing. Like you can play your favorite faction. Like who's your favorite faction, Just say my favorite faction is probably, one of my favorite factions is Lockheed Fellheart, right? So I love Lockheed Fellheart. I love like early game rushing with Black Ark Corsairs, and just they're like badass little commando dudes with their hambos and stuff. And I'm getting Black Arks being like overpowered and all that. And I can play Lockheed Fellheart, still gonna have overpowered Black Arks, still gonna have overpowered Black Ark Corsairs, but now I'm in fucking Cathay. I've got no idea about my starting enemies. It's all completely new, completely different. And Cathay's got these cool river systems that you seem to be able to like ride up the rivers into the heartland of Cathay. So I'm really excited to play that and see how many Cathayan slaves we can take up there, or if your favorite factions, or even if your favorite faction is one that hasn't changed, that hasn't really moved. Like if your favorite faction is Wolfric, like of Norsca, they've moved slightly, but they're still basically in the same situation, but the same spot. But now they've got like Sigvald to the north, they've got Beligor to the south, they've got slightly different rule sets, and do you know what I mean? It's just a different world that you've got to explore, and you don't know, like, when you go play a Warhammer 2 campaign at this point, like the first 10 turns, exactly what's going to happen. Who's going to betray you. That such and such is going to declare war on you about turn 6 or 7. This faction's going to probably get wiped out. And, whereas it's a new game. You don't know. And like that's that essential little difference that you don't know what's going to happen just makes it so much more awesome. What do you think of the map? I saw the desert area and I found it too bright, but I like the new art style. Yeah, I've kind of come around to the new art style. It is a bit more cartoony, but not too bad. And it's sort of cool though. Even though it is a bit cartoony, it's cool because it's a Warhammer cartoon, so I feel like it's pretty cool. I don't really mind like animation style stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I've seen the new patch video, but for me, the automatic immortality level 20 can be good and bad if you try to recruit and disband at that higher level. Yeah, that's true. You've got to disband them before they get to immortal. Oh no, I think you can. I think you might be able to still disband and kill them even if they are immortal. Can't remember. I'm not 100% sure of that. I have to check it.
Boris Ursus now receives reduced penalties and generates devotion when holding Chaos Wasteland settlement.
For me, I don't have time to play 80 campaigns. Confederation's enabled me to experience all the legendary lords. Well, sort of. Confederations allow you to have all the legendary lords. It doesn't actually enable you to experience all the legendary lords, because the different start positions, like the start position is essential to what how the campaign plays and how the campaign feels. And a lot of the different legendary lords have their own unique mechanics that make their factions completely different. So yeah, Confederation lets you have all of them, like have all their models in your army, but it doesn't really give you the same experience that you would get from playing the different factions. So, but yeah. I'm happy the settlement artwork is back. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the all red was really bad. The new UI looks nice. I don't really notice the new UI anymore. Like before, the old UI, I kind of actively didn't like it. Like it looked yuck, you know. Whereas now I don't really notice it as much. It seems it's just fine, you know. I hope Torox gets rebalanced soon as to not snowball at all. Yeah, actually, I wonder if that might be a good idea if they see how they go with the Torox or with the Scarbrand update, because it seems like they're trying to sort of stop Scarbrand instead of just going ballistic straight away. They try to get him to start off a bit flatter and then kind of like curve up so that, you know, and I think that's what you want, you know, you want to have that feeling of power growing and looking forward to how fucking powerful you're going to be later on, and then but you want to kind of be struggle for a while, you know, you want to just be slowly getting better, and then at the end you get that reward of being like just ultimate destroyer and going around wrecking everything, and then you just play for another couple of hours of just, you know, going on a victory lap, just smashing everyone and stuff. But I feel like with Scarborough you just like straight into smash mode, and same with Torox, you know. So maybe they'll experiment with Scarbrand and then they'll go back, have a look at Torox and see if they want to maybe slow down his power creep a little bit as well.
4 new legendary lords with new faction mechanics including chaos gifts provide god.
Your recommended first legendary very hard Immortal Empires campaign. Hey Scott Ball. Well, it's actually, I don't know if his opinion has changed, but Legend actually gave me some recommendations. I don't know if he's, I don't know if I'm,
visual changes have been made, including hand-drawn occupation images for all factions.
I don't think I'm saying anything that he wouldn't let known. But yeah, basically, Legend said that factions that you know should be pretty okay to play in Warhammer 3 would be Bretonnia, Wood Elves, Norsca, Tomb Kings, and Skaven. So that was kind of like Legends list. So I haven't played any of those factions that he mentioned there except for Norsca. And I can confirm Norsca play really well now. They're basically, if you like the old Norsca, then basically the new Norsca is just the same. The new Norsca is basically exactly the same as the old Norsca, except they're richer and better, you know? So if you liked Norsca before, but you found they were just too hard and too frustrating, then be perfect, you know? So Norsca, I definitely recommend Norsca if you want a bit of that Black Metal Viking action. But now you've got the new kids on the block with the Warriors of Chaos. I feel like probably all of the Warriors of Chaos are probably going to be good. I've only tried one. I've only tried Village, but I found it was really fun. I think for the first, I think for your first campaign, you know, when you first play a new faction, you're always going to enjoy them, you know? So, you know, I think any of the Warriors of Chaos are going to be pretty good. Yeah, Village I felt was quite fun. I've heard Archeon's really powerful, but I haven't played him yet. I haven't played any other ones. I'm really keen to play, I played Village. I want to play Village again. I'm really keen to play Archeon and Sigvald as well. I really like my Mortal Warriors of Chaos, you know? I kind of wouldn't mind playing Nurgle as well. Not Nurgle, but the Nurgle champion, but I don't really like him that much, but I want to get some just Nurgle lords and stuff, like the actual Chaos Warrior Nurgle lords with the armor and everything. They look pretty cool. Who else? Oh, Vampire Counts. Vampire Counts are really awesome. I've only played Isabella so far, but I'd recommend Isabella. Another good example of what I was talking about before, where like it's like all of the stuff that you think is cool. Festus is disgusting. Yeah, I kind of want to play Festus, but not have Festus, just disband him and then just play with normal Chaos champions. But yeah, no. But yeah, Isabella's pretty cool. Like they've changed a lot of things. Have changed. Like Wind of Death is a little bit weaker, but and Pit of Shades is a little bit weaker, but like Isabella's got a slightly different spell list now. Vlad's got some Lore of Beasts. He's got what's it called? Flock of Doom, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess basically what I'm trying to say with vampire counts is vampire counts are one of the ones that change the most. So if you kind of keep a bit of an open mind, you'll probably find that they're still pretty powerful, and they still have the same feeling, the same vibe of being vampires and the midnight aristocracy and all that. But it's totally fresh, so you can kind of play them all over again with like a fresh game. It's pretty cool. Where are the patch notes? Yeah, exactly. Where are the patch notes? So yeah, Creative Assembly put out a video called Patch Notes, but they didn't release the patch notes. So I don't know if that's just their idea of a joke or what. But yeah, so I'm guessing the patch notes are coming soon, but this is not like, yeah, even though they called the video patch notes, it's actually just like a little, it's just like highlights of the patch notes. But yeah, I feel like they should have released it at the same time as the patch notes. That would have made more sense. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know if they're going to wait until tomorrow to release the patch notes or what.
Warband recruitment to hire mercenaries from around the world. Warband upgrades to level up your...
Is the vampire spam still viable in Warhammer 3? Okay, so you can't do vampire spam the way that you could before. So before there was a skill in the vampire lords have called Midnight Aristocracy, and when you get it to level 2, which you could do by character level 4, that would give you +1 hero of vampire capacity, and you could just keep leveling up Vampire Lord to level 4, replacing with a new level 1 Lord, leveling up to level 4, replacing with a new one, level up level 4, and just keep getting more and more and more vampire capacity. By turn 50, you could have vampire capacity of like 100 and just swarm the land with vampires. So you can't do that anymore because they removed that skill, right? There's no more +1 capacity in the skill tree for vampire lords, but one lord, which is Isabella, gets +3 vampire capacity. She has a building that she can build that gives her +1 vampire capacity, and in her skill tree she has a skill that gives her +2 vampire capacity. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 +1. You start with 7. So Isabella can get 7 vampire capacity basically in the early game, by the time she gets to level 12. And then you have to wait till you get to tier 4 to build a vampire building to get more capacity. So everyone can build tier 4, everyone can build vampire buildings at tier 4, but you only build 1 per capital. So it's much more, yeah, so it's much more limited. But anyway, my point I was trying to say is, if you like that vampire spam kind of gameplay, then go Isabella. You can get like 5 vampires like real fast, and then when you get to level 12 you get another 2 more, and it feels like a vampire spam campaign. Like you're just going around with your hero blob of like 6 guys killing like multiple armies at once and all that kind of stuff. Looks like CA just released a Q&A. Oh, fantastic. Awesome. Kaden, where is it? Is it called, what's it called actually? Can you tell me the title of it so I can Google it? But yeah, I'd like to watch that.
Poison Chaos Warhammer's unit will be available in the core game for Kugat. And we shifted a lot.
I'm on their official forum right now. Doesn't seem to be anything on there.
Slowing down Scarband's initial rush potential while preserving the ability to pull off massive combos later on. And finally,
oh, thanks a lot, Kaden. You're the man.
Access to the Immortal Empires campaign.
Oh, if you want to,
these 2 games have been brought across to Warhammer 3. Re-implemented, reworked, and rebalanced to fight against the newer races of the trilogy.
No, I can't find it.
Healing abilities, tweaks to shared spell laws, and adjustments to individual units.
Just saw it pop up in their Discord.
A big focus for patch 2.0 is squashing the protection bugs.
I think there was an Immortal Empires Q&A that was an old one.
Non-standard characters in there
What section is it under?
are now more reliable for the player, and potential attackers will take into account who rules over them. Collision from corpses in battle has also been removed to stop any...
If anyone can chuck a link for me on the Discord and write out most of the mad so I can see it, that would be cool.
Market stalls. And lastly, the defense bonus from formation attack is now shown in the UI. We hope you enjoy these new additions to the game. Read the full changelog for patch 2.0 on August 23rd at totalwar.com.
Posted on Monday, August 22. Okay, yeah, cool. I found it. Thanks, guys. Sorry. Can I get to a website with this on or what?
Total War 1.
Official newsfeed. Yeah, I found it finally. Sorry.
In addition to bringing you the Champions of Chaos DLC,
I'll see if I can.
DLC, and the first beta access to Immortal Empires DLC, updating the core game to align each of the releases.
Maybe I have to. Let me let me try something else.
Campaign rework thanks to our 4 new legendary lords. With new faction mechanics including Chaos Gifts provide god-given boosts for your faction, a vassal-based settlement structure with dark fortresses and altars to act as the bloodline for your armies, warband recruitment to hire mercenaries from around the world.
I don't know if this is really attractive or anything, but give it a try.
After glory, where dedicated characters will be able to gather boons.
Okay, so we've got a Q&A. I don't know if there's, it doesn't look like there's going to be much information in here, but yeah.
Images for all factions and an improved
well, let me just turn down this.
We also have a visual update for the Chaos Knights of Siege and the Doom Knights of Siege.
My mouse. Can't find my mouse. I need a bigger mouse or like better eyes or something. Okay, so welcome to the FAQ. Oh, I forgot to turn that back on again. Okay, have a little bit of a background noise.
As well as new combat animations for Archaon the Everchosen.
Fuck, I lost it now.
To add more variety to the color palette.
Okay, back again.
The Northern Wastelands,
Make that bigger.
Marches of Kurun, and Middle Mountains.
I'm trying to make it bigger for you guys so you can sort of read it a bit. I don't know if that's, fuck it. Whatever. So what do we got here? Anything?
The Marches of Kurun, led by Laura and Leoncourt's vassal, Earl Adalbert, and Wintertooth, led by Throg, the Troll King.
There's nothing there. Thank you. It's less Q&A and more FAQ. Yeah, yeah. Was there anything, literally anything in here that was interesting at all?
Factions has been removed from Khorne, Siege, Demons of Chaos, and Nurgle.
Yeah, this is the release dates for anyone who hasn't seen that yet.
Confederation has now been rebalanced.
So yeah.
An allied outpost.
So there's all the different dates for the different different locations. So yeah, it's so 3 p.m. on the 23rd if you're in London, 4 p.m. in Berlin, 4 p.m. in Cape Town, South Africa, Beijing 10 p.m. on the 23rd, Singapore 10 p.m. Australia, where I am, is midnight of the 23rd, like, or you know, first thing in the morning 24th, depending on how you calculate it. New Zealand's 2 a.m. on the 24th, and Seattle's 7 a.m. on the 23rd. New York's 10 a.m. on the 23rd. Rio de Janeiro 11 a.m. on the 23rd. Yeah.
For those who own Warhammer 1 and 2 and have access to the Immortal Empires campaign.
So I mean, we've gone over this like millions of times already, but yeah. If I own all 3 games, does this mean I have access to all of the content, races, factions, etc.? Owning the base games of all 3 Warhammer titles will only grant you access to the set selection of races and legendary lords available in those given games. You need to purchase DLC for those games to access the respective races, etc. So if you wish to play Vampire Coast or Tomb Kings, you'll need to own those respective those race packs. So you only get, so basically every game that you buy gives you access to play that race in Immortal Empires. But you can only play in the full Immortal Empires if you have game 1, game 2, and game 3. So that lets you play on the map of Immortal Empires and gives you access to play against every single race as enemies. So every single race will be in the game. The world will be complete regardless of what you have, right? But you will only be able to like use the races that you've actually bought, or then the lords that you've actually bought. Yes, Immortal Empires will have the same minimum and recommended specs as Total War Warhammer 3. So yeah, so Immortal Empires is basically just the same game as Warhammer 3, so it should be the same. The download size is going to be 104 gigabytes. Yeah, I was a lot of people, like whenever they do downloads and stuff, they complain that they don't have enough space and stuff like that. So how it normally works is like you've got your current version of Warhammer 3 on your hard drive that's like 120 gigs, all right? And then there's an update and it's only going to be 104 gigs, which is less than the size of the game you've currently got, right? So you think, oh, that's fine, I should have heaps of space. But no, it's going to have to you've got your 120 gigs there. It's going to download another 104 gigs on top of that. So you need like 100 and you need 230 gigs total space, right, for the old version and the new version, and then it's going to like patch onto your old version. It may not always work exactly like that, but basically you need more space for the second version, you know. So a lot of people say, oh, they don't have enough space, they need to move stuff around, blah blah. So what you can do is just delete the old game, you know. So just delete, just when it's like 5 minutes before patch time, just delete Warhammer 3 off your hard drive, and then that 120 gigs that you had used up by Warhammer 3 will be free. And then you just download Warhammer 3 again after the patch comes out. Boom, don't have to worry about any space, you know. So if you've got enough space now for Warhammer 3 to go on, just delete that off and put it back on again with the new one, and then you won't have to worry about any space. So the whole game after the update will be 104 gigs. That's what they're saying. Do I need to install all 3 games to play? No, you do not have to install all 3 games to play. So if you've got Warhammer 1, Warhammer 2, and Warhammer 3, basically you don't have to have Warhammer 1 and 2 installed. It'll basically kind of, the game will kind of think of game 1 and game 2 as kind of like DLCs. Like if you've got game 1 and game 2, then game 3 will recognize that you own them, and it'll count as like kind of like a DLC. It'll let you have those races from Warhammer 1 and 2 in Warhammer 3, but you don't have to have those games installed. It's always good to do a clean install after big patches like this. Yeah, probably, you know, like that's what I did. Like last time, I just deleted the game just before the patch came out, and then I just downloaded it fresh. So yeah, just download more disk space. Come on, guys. Yeah, just download more RAM, as Legend would say. Will Immortal Empires support cross-play? Yes, Immortal Empires will support cross-play. Like Warhammer 3, players can join and play against each other across Microsoft, Steam, and Epic platforms. So that's really cool. Are the Realm of Chaos or Eye of Vortex mechanics active in this? No. Immortal Empires does not feature the Realm of Chaos from Warhammer 3 or the Eye of the Vortex from Warhammer 2 campaign mechanics. It's a sandbox experience first and foremost, though each race will have their own unique victory conditions. Oh yeah, that's another big one too, guys. I don't know if you've seen some of the content that the other creators have been putting out already about the victory conditions, but every faction has now a reward that you get for completing the short campaign victory, and the short campaign victory is generally fairly easy, like fairly not as like, some of them were reasonably easy before, but some of them were really hard. But now that it seems like they've made all of the short campaign victory conditions fairly logical and fairly accessible, so you can realistically do them. And then you'll get a bonus. Like for the dwarfs, I think the dwarfs for short campaign victory, they get +3 hero capacity. So +3 Thanes, +3 rune smiths, and +3 engineers, you know, which is huge for dwarves because they have a hard time getting capacity for their heroes. So, and all you gotta do is do short victory for that, you know, so that's really cool. You know, then long campaign, like the long campaign victory, I think for vampire counts, the short campaign victory wasn't anything too great. It was like replenishment or something, but the long campaign victory was like +35 magic reserve to all armies. So it's like, it's cool. Like you get like powerful buffs, you know, that for completing the actual campaign objectives. So it's not just you know, it's not just an arbitrary thing that you do to complete it. Where are you reading this? Oh no, I've been playing the pre-release version for the last few days, Floorberry, so this is just my experience from playing the game. Can you get greater demons in Warriors of Chaos armies? Yes, you can, through the Chaos Gift mechanic. He's talking about it right now, actually.
A vassal-based settlement structure with dark fortresses and altars to act as the blood, including
this. So through this mechanic, basically you've got, like on the outside you've got your specific gods, so it might be Tzeentch or whatever, and then on the inside you've got your undivided ones. I think if you play as Archaon, you've got like one, you probably have like one for each of the 4 different chaos gods around the edges, and then you have your undivided ones or something like that. But if most of them have like Village has got Tzeentch around the outside, and then he's got undivided in the middle. Sigvald's probably got Slanesh around the outside and undivided in the middle, stuff like that. And basically when you unlock the highest level gifts, there'll be ones like greater summoning greater demons and stuff like that. You mean like a global recruitment capacity for Dark Elves? Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Luke. That's glorious, that one. Although, good point that you mentioned that. I wonder what the Dark Elves will get. They'll probably get something really fucking good, because, you know, now that they've had that like kind of embarrassment of oh man, that's all screwed up now. Now that they've kind of had that embarrassment of, how do I fix this? Oh, I've got to turn that off. Okay, there we go. Yeah, now they've had that embarrassment of screwing up the Dark Elf one, when they fix it, they can't like fix it to something that's equally shit, you know? Like they could fix it to like, you know, plus 1% slave income or something, you know, would be really lame and everyone would hate it. So then they just get more of a backlash, you know? So now when they change it to something that actually works, it'll actually be good, you know? So yeah, so if anyone missed the joke, the short campaign victory for the Dark Elves in the pre-release version that I've got is global recruitment capacity increase, but Dark Elves don't have global recruitment capacity, so it literally does nothing. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what they actually get, because obviously it won't stay the same. But that's a good example of all the bugs, you know, like it's, as I said, if Immortal Empires was like as it is now was the final version of the game, I'd be really pissed off because there's heaps of things wrong with it. And that's a perfect example. They've got a victory condition reward that doesn't do anything, you know, but there's like, you know, there's heaps of things that are wrong with it, but it's still very playable. It's still very fun. It's still very new and awesome. And there's heaps of, like, the main thing about it is there's heaps of content. Like, this is the thing that was so bad about Realm of Chaos. Like, none of the bugs or problems or the crappy race for the Urson souls, and none of that was the thing that really killed the Realm of Chaos. The thing that killed Realm of Chaos campaign is lack of content. It only got like 5 races or whatever, you know, well, 6, I don't know how many races there was. Like, there's only a handful of races, and none of them were the races that we wanted to play, you know. All of our favorite races weren't in it, you know. So that would like, and that's the quintessential difference. That's why Immortal Empires is great and Realm of Chaos sucks, because Realm of Chaos doesn't have all the content in it. It might be, you know, nearly bug free now with this patch, for all I know. I don't know, I haven't played it, but yeah, whereas Immortal Empires is riddled with bugs, but we're still going to love it because it's got all the cool shit in it, right? You know, so yeah. Yeah, so I was looking at the fact. I don't know if there's anything really in the fact that's worth really covering, but I'm just kind of going through in case there's anything. Multiplayer supports 8 players in multiplayer campaigns, so you'll be able to play 8-player Immortal Empires multiplayer campaigns. I haven't played around with multiplayer. None of the other content creators contacted me about doing anything with multiplayer, so I didn't get and I didn't ask anyone to do anything with multiplayer. I didn't really have time, so that's something we've got to look forward to. So Norska, Lizardmen, Dark Elves, and the Vampire accounts have received the largest updates so far. More information on them can be found in this Total Blood blog here. Actually, yeah, I could go through that as well and probably make a lot of comments about it. But yeah, I didn't want this to go too long. You know, I won't recap that. I did when this Immortal Empires race updates video came out on July 23rd. I did a react and discuss video to that already. I probably have a lot more to say about it now that I've actually played all these races. But yeah, so do I need to delete Warhammer 3 and download it again? No, you don't need to, Willem. If you've got enough space on your hard drive, you can just download the update. It'll update automatically and you can just carry on with your day. But I was just saying, if you're one of those people that is very starved for space and you're not sure what you can delete and whatever, then just delete the original game and download it again. You can do that. It's going to be just as fast as downloading it and updating it, you know? That's all I was saying. But you know, you don't have to. You can just download the update like normal. Will Immortal Empires be moddable? Yeah, they're going to be mods. Another thing that they said about the end game scenarios is they've specifically designed them to be very moddable. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of the end game scenario stuff so far, but it's a pretty cool new mechanic they've added in. So yeah, really interested to see all the mods we get with that. Bellicor Sea Lanes mechanic. Yeah, I haven't actually tried that out yet, but that's cool. Why are you releasing? I'll read this part. Why are you releasing Immortal Empires as a beta? Immortal Empires is the most ambitious project we've ever attempted, combining the content of 3 massive games into one world-spanning mode. This means that it has also been one of the most technically challenging, and there is still some work to do as we collect feedback, monitor gameplay, and update it over time to address basic concerns and bugs. This is still the full Immortal Empires experience, but the beta tag helps us set expectations as we continue to make it the best it can be. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was trying to say, that it's like, yeah, it's got a lot of bugs. It's got a lot of things that aren't finished. Only these factions have really only these factions have really had substantial reworks, and I would say are, you know, in a proper game ready state. You know, some of the other ones didn't really need to be updated, so they're still fine. But yeah, but most of the other races like are like not even really looked at properly yet. So, you know, so just have that expectation that a lot of the factions are kind of a bit busted still. But yeah, it's yeah, just keep your expectations realistic, I guess. Anyway, guys, I think yeah, probably can just about wrap it up there.
Demons of Chaos and Nurgle. Allies can now be given an occupy request in addition to attack and defend, which will encourage them to actively claim the settlement, including ruin.
Yeah. I don't want this to go on forever and ever, so I'll probably wrap it up there, guys. But yeah, thanks. Hey, like Monkey. No worries, man. Yeah, I got to go get some sleep. I'm going to be back with another Total War Immortal Empires campaign for you guys in a few short hours, 4.5 hours to try and get some sleep. And then we'll be back with, I'm thinking either Karl Franz to see how booked the Empire actually is, because they haven't got an update. But I know a lot of people like Karl Franz. I like Karl Franz, so I'd like to sort of see if he's still playable or how bad it is for them, because they haven't really got an update. Or I wouldn't mind playing Archaon, because I've been waiting for like 7 years to play Archaon properly. So yeah. Anyway, one of those two. Or I do want to kind of play Volkmar as well. Anyway, whatever. I'll be surprised. Anyway, watch this space. 4.5 hours from now, we'll be playing some more Immortal Empires. So I hope some of you guys will come back and join me there. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Bye.